The journey of life is not always easy. We face challenges, setbacks, and obstacles, many of which seem insurmountable. But in the face of adversity, we also have a choice. We can either allow these challenges to define us, or we can choose to push forward, to rise up, and to transform them into stepping stones toward our greater purpose. It is easy to feel defeated when things aren't going our way. It is easy to fall into self-doubt when life doesn't seem to be giving us the results we want. But if we can just shift our perspective, if we can summon the courage to push ourselves beyond what we think is possible, we will find that our greatest strength lies not in what we've already achieved, but in the potential that we haven't yet realized. The first step toward creating change in your life is understanding that growth doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen in a moment of inspiration or a flash of brilliance. Real change requires effort. It requires commitment. It requires you to dig deep and confront parts of yourself that may be uncomfortable or unfamiliar. There are days when you will question your path. There will be moments when you feel as if you have nothing left to give. But it is precisely in these moments that your growth begins. The moments when you feel the most drained, the most overwhelmed, are often the times when you are on the verge of a breakthrough. There is something incredibly powerful about pushing yourself when every part of you wants to quit. When you keep going even though the odds are stacked against you, you unlock a new level of strength within yourself. There is no greater feeling than realizing that you are capable of more than you ever thought possible. It is in these moments of struggle that we learn the most about ourselves. We discover what we're made of. We uncover the resilience that lies within us, waiting to be called upon. Success is not a straight line. It is not a smooth road without bumps, without detours, without challenges. The road to success is full of twists and turns, full of unexpected detours that force us to rethink our strategies, our goals, our vision. But that's okay. The detours are often where we find our greatest lessons. The detours are where we discover strengths we never knew we had, where we realize that failure is not something to fear, but something to embrace as part of the process. Failure is not the opposite of success, it is a part of success. It is in the moments when we stumble that we learn how to rise. It is in the moments when we fall that we gain the experience necessary to stand tall. You will make mistakes. You will face setbacks. But do not let these moments define you. Do not let them be the reason you stop trying. In fact, let them fuel your fire. Let them push you to be better, to try harder, to go further than you ever imagined. The most successful people are not the ones who never fail, but the ones who never give up. One of the most powerful things you can do for yourself is to stop looking for permission. Stop waiting for someone to tell you that you are worthy of success. Stop waiting for the right moment, the perfect circumstances, or the ideal conditions. The truth is, there will never be a perfect time to start. There will never be a moment when everything aligns perfectly. If you wait for the perfect moment, you will be waiting forever. The time to act is now. You already have everything you need inside of you to make a change. You are capable, you are strong, and you are worthy of everything you dream of. But you have to believe that. You have to stop questioning your abilities and start trusting your instincts. Trust that you have within you the strength to rise above any challenge. Trust that your dreams are not out of reach, no matter how far away they may seem. You are not defined by the mistakes of your past, and you are not limited by the circumstances of your present. You are defined by the choices you make today, by the actions you take in this very moment. There will always be people who doubt you, who question your dreams, who tell you that it can't be done. But their doubts are not your truth. Their opinions do not determine your worth. The only opinion that matters is your own. You are the author of your own story, and you have the power to write it however you choose. It is up to you to decide how the next chapter will unfold. Will you allow fear and doubt to dictate your story, or will you choose to take control, to push forward, to believe in your own power to create change? In this journey, you will encounter moments of doubt. You will question whether you are good enough, whether you are capable of achieving your goals, whether you are worthy of success. But in those moments, remember this: you are not here by accident. You are here because you have something valuable to offer this world. You have a purpose, and that purpose is uniquely yours. Your voice, your talents, your perspective are needed. Don't allow fear or self-doubt to silence you. You have everything you need to succeed within you. One of the most important things you can do is to surround yourself with people who lift you up. People who believe in you when you don't believe in yourself. People who will encourage you, support you, and challenge you to be your best. But here's the thing, you can't wait for others to believe in you before you believe in yourself. You have to start by believing in your own potential. You have to start by recognizing the power within you, even when no one else sees it. You are your own biggest cheerleader, your own biggest motivator. You will also need to learn to embrace discomfort. Change is not easy. Growth is not comfortable. But it is in the discomfort that the magic happens. It is in the moments when you are stretched beyond what you think you can handle that you begin to see the world through a new lens. You begin to understand your true capacity for greatness. But you have to be willing to go through the fire. You have to be willing to face the fear, the uncertainty, the challenges head on, knowing that on the other side of discomfort lies your growth. There is a powerful force within you, a force that will drive you to continue even when the road is long and difficult. But you have to connect with it. You have to tap into it and trust that it will guide you when you feel lost. You are stronger than you realize, more resilient than you think. It is not the circumstances you face that determine your success, but your ability to rise above them. It is your mindset, your attitude, and your determination that will carry you through. Remember that every challenge you face is an opportunity for growth. Every obstacle is a lesson waiting to be learned. Do not shy away from difficulties, for they are the very things that will shape you into the person you are meant to become. Every struggle you face today is preparing you for the success of tomorrow. Keep moving forward. Keep moving forward. Keep pushing yourself. You are capable of achieving greatness, but you must first believe that it is possible. You must believe that you are worthy of it, and you must take the steps necessary to make it happen. You are capable of more than you think. You are stronger than you feel, and you are more than enough. Don't let anything or anyone tell you otherwise. Every time you push yourself, every time you take a step forward, no matter how small, you are getting closer to the person you are meant to become. Keep moving, keep striving, and above all, keep believing in yourself, because when you believe in your own potential, nothing is impossible. You are not the sum of your failures, but the power of your willingness to rise again. These words speak to the core of human resilience. They remind us that who we are isn't determined by the mistakes we've made or the setbacks we've faced, but rather by our ability to rise after falling, to face adversity with the same strength and courage that we often find in the most unexpected moments of our lives. Life doesn't always unfold the way we expect. We all experience struggles, challenges, and difficulties that test our limits. But what truly defines us, what truly shapes our character, is not the failure itself, but our response to it. Failure is often viewed as a negative outcome, something to be avoided at all costs. In a world that celebrates success, winning, and perfection, failure can feel like a dark cloud that looms over us, reminding us of what we didn't achieve, of what we couldn't do. But if we dig a little deeper, we start to realize that failure isn't something to fear, it's something to learn from. It's a stepping stone, a necessary part of the journey towards success and personal growth. Failure doesn't define who you are, it only highlights the areas where you have the potential to evolve, grow, and stretch into your full potential. Think about the times in your life when you faced failure, whether it was in your personal life, your career, or your dreams. Perhaps it was a project that didn't go as planned, a relationship that ended in heartache, or an ambition that seemed just out of reach. These moments can feel devastating, overwhelming, and discouraging. But they are also moments of transformation, moments that offer valuable lessons about who you are, who you want to become, and how much strength you actually possess. The key, however, lies in your response to failure. It's easy to let disappointment and frustration take hold, to let self-doubt creep in and cloud your judgment. In these moments, it's tempting to give up, to throw in the towel and say, "This is too hard. I'm not good enough." But when we allow ourselves to get stuck in that narrative, we forget one crucial thing: failure is not final unless you choose for it to be. It's not the end of your story, it's just a chapter, a part of the process. The power of your willingness to rise again lies in your ability to shift your perspective, to view failure not as a permanent obstacle, but as a temporary setback, an opportunity for growth. When you fail, it's not a reflection of your worth or your abilities. It's simply a moment in time, a moment that will pass, provided that you don't give it more power than it deserves. The true measure of your strength lies in your decision to get back up, to try again, and to keep moving forward, even when the path ahead seems unclear. Rising again is not just about physical action. It's about mental and emotional resilience. It's about understanding that your journey isn't defined by perfection, but by persistence. It's about finding the courage to keep going, even when it feels like the world is against you. And it's about giving yourself permission to fail, to fall short, and still know that you have everything it takes to succeed. The act of rising again is an act of self-belief, a declaration that you won't be limited by your failures, but instead you'll use them as fuel for your future success. Every time you face adversity, you are presented with a choice. You can either let it break you, or you can use it to build you. When you choose the latter, when you choose to rise again, you are sending a powerful message to yourself and the world that you are not defined by your setbacks, but by your resilience, your grit, and your determination to move forward, no matter what. It is your willingness to keep going that will determine the outcome, not the failure itself. This concept is central to growth. We all have dreams, ambitions, and goals that we want to achieve. But the road to success is rarely straight. It's filled with obstacles, detours, and unexpected challenges that can feel discouraging. Yet, every time we face one of these challenges, we have an opportunity to learn, to adjust, and to adapt. It's through our failures that we learn what works and what doesn't. It's through our setbacks that we gain the wisdom necessary to navigate future obstacles. And it's through our willingness to keep rising, to keep trying, that we build the strength necessary to eventually reach our goals. Look around at the most successful people you know, whether they are entrepreneurs, athletes, artists, or anyone who has reached the top in their field. What is one thing they all have in common? They've failed. They've stumbled. They've faced rejection, disappointment, and hardship. But the difference between those who succeed and those who don't is simple. Successful people don't let failure define them. They use it as a learning tool, a challenge to overcome. They understand that failure is not something to be feared, but something to be embraced, because it's through failure that they grow stronger, smarter, and more capable of achieving their dreams. And this is true for everyone, no matter where you are in your journey. You may be at the beginning of a new venture, or you may be facing a difficult challenge that feels insurmountable. But know this: the fact that you are still standing, that you are still willing to try, is proof of your strength. You are not defined by what you haven't accomplished yet, but by your willingness to continue despite the odds, despite the setbacks, despite the obstacles. The power of your willingness to rise again is also about self-compassion. It's about understanding that failure doesn't make you weak, unworthy, or incapable. It makes you human. It's easy to be hard on yourself when things don't go as planned, to berate yourself for not being perfect, for not meeting your own expectations. But true resilience comes when you give yourself grace, when you allow yourself the space to fail, to make mistakes, and to learn from them. It's about recognizing that perfection is a myth, and that success is not about avoiding failure. It's about being willing to keep going, even when things aren't perfect. This self-compassion is essential because without it, we risk giving up too soon. Without it, we risk seeing failure as a reflection of our own inadequacies instead of as a natural part of the learning process. But when we can approach our failures with kindness, with understanding, we give ourselves the room to grow, to pick ourselves up, and to try again. We stop seeing ourselves as broken and instead begin to see ourselves as resilient, as capable, as powerful in our ability to continue moving forward. The willingness to rise again also means trusting the process. Life doesn't always unfold according to our timelines or our plans. Sometimes things don't work out the way we expect. Sometimes it feels like the universe is conspiring against us. But what if, instead of seeing these moments as signs that we should quit, we saw them as opportunities to adjust, to pivot, and to grow in ways we hadn't anticipated. The power of rising again is not just in your ability to keep moving, but in your ability to trust that the challenges you face are leading you to a place where you will become the person you need to be in order to achieve what you desire. The greatest stories of success are often the stories of those who have faced the greatest struggles. Think about the people you admire most, the ones whose journeys inspire you. They've likely faced failures that most people would never know about. They've likely been knocked down, rejected, and discouraged at some point, but they kept going. They rose again. And their success isn't just about the end result, it's about the lessons they learned along the way, the resilience they built, and the person they became in the process. So when you face your own challenges, when you encounter failure or setback, remember this: you are not the sum of your failures. You are the sum of your willingness to rise again. Your failures do not define you. What defines you is your courage to keep moving forward, to keep going even when the road is tough. It's in the moments when you feel like giving up that you must remember who you are and how much power you have within you to rise, to learn, to grow, and to ultimately succeed. Don't let failure be your story's ending. Let it be the part that pushes you to become the best version of yourself. The only limits that exist are the ones you accept. Break them, and watch the world change for you. These words echo a profound truth about human potential. In a world that often seeks to define us by our circumstances, our challenges, or even our fears, it is easy to feel like we are constrained by the limits others place on us or the limits we place on ourselves. We are told by society, by peers, and by the media what is possible, what is achievable, and what is out of our reach. But what if everything you've ever been told about your limitations is nothing more than a story you've accepted? What if those limitations are not as real as they seem, but merely the walls you've built inside your own mind? We often hear people say, "I can't do this," or "I'm not capable of that," or "This is too difficult for me." These are the self-imposed barriers that many of us encounter on a daily basis. We build them slowly, over time, through past experiences, failures, disappointments, and fears. These barriers become the limits we think are fixed and unchangeable. They become the mental ceilings that, despite our best efforts, seem impossible to break. But the reality is, those limits exist only because we have allowed them to. The power to break free from those limits lies entirely in our hands. The only limits that truly exist are the ones we are willing to accept. The human mind is an incredibly powerful tool. It shapes our perceptions, drives our actions, and influences how we experience the world. When we believe something is beyond our reach, our actions will align with that belief. We will act with hesitation, uncertainty, and a lack of confidence. We'll make decisions based on the assumption that we are limited, and in doing so, we manifest the very limitations we fear. The good news is that the inverse is also true. When we break through those barriers in our minds, when we challenge the idea that we are bound by limitations, we unlock new possibilities, new opportunities, and a version of ourselves we never thought was possible. Think about a time in your life when you overcame a challenge that once seemed insurmountable. Perhaps it was a goal you achieved, a fear you conquered, or an obstacle you moved past. In that moment, you likely realized that you were capable of much more than you thought. The limits you once believed existed didn't hold the power you assigned to them. When you chose to push past them, when you broke through the wall of self-doubt and fear, the world changed for you. The path ahead became clearer, your confidence grew, and you saw yourself in a new light. But breaking through these mental limits is not always easy. It requires a shift in perspective, a change in how we see ourselves and the world around us. It requires courage to step into the unknown, to embrace discomfort, and to take risks even when the outcome is uncertain. Many people live their entire lives trapped within these self-imposed limits, never questioning the boundaries they've accepted. They wonder why their dreams seem so far out of reach, why they can't seem to break through to the next level of their potential. The truth is, the world does not limit you, you limit yourself by accepting the constraints of your own thinking. There's a powerful analogy in the way a bamboo tree grows. A bamboo tree, once planted, spends years growing its roots underground, creating a foundation strong enough to support the massive tree it will eventually become. It appears to be stagnant at first, growing only beneath the surface. But once the roots are strong, the bamboo shoots up rapidly, sometimes growing as much as 35 inches in a single day. What's amazing is that during those years when the bamboo appears to be doing nothing, it's actually breaking through barriers beneath the soil. It's preparing itself to break through the surface and rise to incredible heights. Just like the bamboo, you too have the power to break through your own limits. But first, you must invest in your internal growth. You must spend time strengthening your foundation, developing the mental, emotional, and physical resilience that will enable you to rise beyond your perceived limits. This requires patience, faith, and a willingness to trust that every effort you put in, every challenge you face, is strengthening you for the breakthrough that is yet to come. One of the biggest obstacles to breaking through limits is fear. Fear tells us that we are not capable, that we are not enough, that the risks are too great. Fear tries to keep us safe, but it also keeps us small. Fear creates stories in our minds about what might go wrong, about the potential for failure. It whispers that we are not worthy, that we don't have the right skills, or that others will judge us. But fear is often an illusion. It's a projection of our own insecurities, our own doubts. The reality is that when you choose to face fear and push through it, you discover a power within you that you never knew existed. The truth is, you don't have to be perfect to succeed. You don't have to have all the answers, all the resources, or all the skills. You simply need the willingness to act, to take that first step, and to keep moving forward. There will be times when you stumble, when you make mistakes, when things don't go as planned. But those moments are part of the process. Every setback is an opportunity to learn, to grow, and to come back stronger. The key is not to let the setbacks define you, but to see them as necessary steps on the way to breaking through the limits you once accepted. There is a quote by Albert Einstein that says, "The measure of intelligence is the ability to change our ability to adapt, to challenge our assumptions, and to embrace new ways of thinking is what allows us to break through the limits we once thought were unchangeable." The same applies to our lives. When we break free from the mental limits we have accepted, we open up a world of possibility. We stop seeing obstacles as roadblocks and start seeing them as opportunities to innovate, to explore, and to grow. Look at some of the most revolutionary breakthroughs in human history. Think about the great inventors, scientists, entrepreneurs, and visionaries who have changed the world. Every single one of them faced limits of technology, limits of knowledge, limits of resources, and limits of perception. But instead of accepting these limits as the final word, they pushed beyond them. They questioned what was possible and created new realities. The world changed because they didn't accept the limits others placed on them, and they refused to be confined by the boundaries they saw in front of them. They chose to break those barriers, and in doing so, they reshaped entire industries, created new inventions, and changed the lives of millions. What would happen if you approached your own life with the same mindset? What if, instead of seeing your challenges as insurmountable, you saw them as opportunities to break through the limits that once held you back? What if you stopped telling yourself that you're not capable, that you're not ready, or that it's too hard? What if you chose to break those mental barriers, to step into the unknown with courage, and to act in spite of fear? Breaking limits is not a one-time event. It's a process, a continual journey of growth, self-discovery, and reinvention. Every time you break through one limit, you will find new ones to challenge. The more you push yourself, the more you realize that the only limits that truly exist are the ones you accept. It's a constant practice of expanding your boundaries, questioning your assumptions, and believing that there is always more to learn, more to experience, and more to achieve. The process of breaking your limits doesn't just change to create the life you truly want. And when you do, the world will not only change for you, it will change because of you. Because the limits you break will inspire others to do the same, creating a powerful wave of transformation that extends far beyond your own journey. You have the power to break through any limit that stands in your way. The only question is, will you choose to accept those limits, or will you choose to rise above them? When you decide to break free from the barriers you've placed on yourself, the possibilities are endless. The world is waiting for you to step up, to take action, and to show everyone what can happen when you refuse to accept limitations. Because when you do, the world will change for you, and in turn, you will change the world. Success doesn't wait for you to be perfect, it waits for you to be persistent. These words speak volumes about the nature of achievement and the journey to greatness. In a society that often emphasizes perfection, whether it's the flawless appearance on social media, the polished presentation in the boardroom, or the idealized achievements of others, it's easy to fall into the trap of believing that success is reserved for those who have it all together. Those who appear to be flawless, those who have it figured out. We see success as something that happens to those who have everything in place, those who have mastered their craft, or those who make it look easy. But in reality, success is not a prize for the perfect. It's not a reward for those who seem to have it all together, or for those who never stumble. Success is, in fact, a result of persistence, of showing up again and again, even when things aren't going your way, even when you feel like you're not good enough, and even when the world seems to be telling you to quit. Success doesn't care about your flaws or your missteps. It cares about your willingness to keep moving forward, to keep working toward your goals, and to keep striving, no matter how many times you fall down or fail along the way. It waits for you to be persistent, for you to stay committed to the process, to keep your focus on the prize, even when the road is long and winding. So often we find ourselves caught up in the idea of perfection. We want to get it just right. We want everything to be in place before we make our move. We wait for the right time, the perfect moment, the ideal circumstances. But the truth is, perfection is an illusion. There will never be a moment when everything is perfect. There will never be a time when all the stars align, when every variable is accounted for, and when you feel completely ready. Perfection is not a prerequisite for success. Persistence is. When you focus too much on perfection, you paralyze yourself with doubt, hesitation, and fear. You might think to yourself, I'm not good enough yet, or I haven't learned enough to be successful, or I'm not ready. These thoughts can become so overwhelming that they stop you from even trying. But waiting for the perfect conditions is a surefire way to keep yourself stuck. Perfection is not something that's attained overnight. It's something you learn through persistence, through trial and error, through the willingness to fail and get back up again. It's something that develops over time, not through a single moment of brilliance, but through a steady commitment to the journey. Consider how many successful people have achieved their goals not because they were perfect from the start, but because they were relentless in their pursuit. Think of the famous entrepreneurs, athletes, authors, or innovators. Their success didn't come from flawless execution. They didn't wait until they had all the knowledge, experience, or resources. They started where they were with what they had, and they kept going, even when things were difficult. They failed, they stumbled, they faced obstacles, but they were persistent. They understood that success isn't about avoiding mistakes, it's about moving forward despite them. The idea of being good enough is another barrier that often holds us back. So many people hold themselves back because they feel they're not skilled enough, not experienced enough, or not worthy of success. But let me tell you something, the moment you start showing up, the moment you take consistent action, you're already ahead of those who are waiting for everything to be perfect. Perfection doesn't lead to success, persistence does. You don't have to have all the answers or know exactly how to get there. You just have to keep moving, keep trying, keep learning, and keep adapting. With persistence, the path becomes clearer. With persistence, you develop the skills you need along the way. Success doesn't wait for you to be perfect, it waits for you to be committed to the process. Persistence isn't about never making mistakes, it's about learning from them and continuing on despite them. It's about the willingness to continue even when things don't go according to plan. Life is unpredictable. Things will go wrong. You will face challenges, obstacles, and setbacks, but how you respond to those challenges will determine whether you succeed. Do you give up when you make a mistake? Do you quit when the going gets tough? Or do you stand up, brush yourself off, and keep moving forward? That is where success lies, not in the flawless execution, but in the relentless spirit to try again, to improve, and to grow. One of the biggest obstacles to persistence is the fear of failure. Failure is something that almost everyone tries to avoid. But what if we reframe failure? What if we saw failure not as a roadblock, but as a part of the process? Success is not a linear journey, it's full of ups and downs. The most successful people have faced countless failures along the way, but what separates them from those who never make it is that they don't let failure define them. They understand that failure is a lesson, a necessary stepping stone, and an opportunity to learn. They see it as part of the persistence that is required to achieve their goals. Every time they fall, they get back up and keep moving forward, wiser, stronger, and more determined than before. Persistence is also about having the courage to keep going when others doubt you or when the road ahead is unclear. It's easy to quit when things get tough or when others are telling you it's not going to work. But true persistence comes from within. It's about staying focused on your goals, trusting the process, and refusing to let external circumstances dictate your actions. There will always be critics, there will always be naysayers, and there will always be people who doubt you. But what matters is not what others think, it's your belief in yourself and your ability to keep going, no matter what. Persistence requires faith, not just in the process, but in your own ability to persevere through challenges and emerge victorious on the other side. Another aspect of persistence is the importance of consistency. Success doesn't happen all at once. It's built slowly, step by step, through consistent action. You don't need to make giant leaps every day, but you do need to make steady progress. It's the small, daily efforts that add up over time and lead to big results. Whether it's learning a new skill, improving your health, or building a business, success comes from showing up every day, even when it's hard, even when you don't feel like it. It's the daily commitment to your goals that compounds over time. As the saying goes, Rome wasn't built in a day. Your success won't come overnight either, but with persistence, you will get closer to your dreams every single day. Persistence is also about adapting to change. Life is full of surprises and things won't always go according to plan. When you hit roadblocks, it's essential to adapt, to pivot, and to keep moving forward in a different direction if necessary. Success isn't about rigidly sticking to a plan. No matter what, it's about staying flexible and finding new ways to overcome challenges. With persistence, you learn to navigate the twists and turns that come your way, and you develop the creativity and resourcefulness needed to continue on your path. It's easy to think that success happens in an instant. We see the final product, the best-selling book, the thriving business, the championship win, but we don't always see the years of hard work, failures, and setbacks that led up to that moment. Success isn't a one-time event. It's a culmination of all the times you've kept going when it felt impossible. It's the result of all the days you showed up, even when you were tired, when you were discouraged, or when you didn't think it would work. The truth is, success is not a destination, it's a journey. And the only way to reach it is through persistence. It's also important to recognize that persistence doesn't mean blindly pushing forward without ever reevaluating or adjusting. Sometimes persistence means being willing to step back, reassess, and change course if necessary. It means continuing with purpose and direction, not stubbornly forcing yourself down a path that isn't working. Persistence is about being both determined and intelligent in your approach. It's about knowing when to push through and when to adjust your strategy. Every time you persist, you are building the resilience and character that are necessary to achieve your goals. The more you persist, the more you grow, not just in skill, but in strength of spirit. You become a person who doesn't give up no matter how tough it gets. You become someone who understands that the path to success is not always easy, but that persistence is the key to unlocking the doors that lead to your dreams. Success doesn't wait for you to be perfect, it waits for you to be persistent. The moment you choose to persist, to keep moving forward despite the obstacles and challenges, you are claiming your future. You are saying, I am not afraid of failure. I will not be stopped, and with each step, you draw closer to the success that you've been working toward. The person you are becoming is far stronger than the challenges you face today. This powerful statement speaks to the very essence of growth and personal transformation. It's a reminder that the difficulties you face are not the end of your story, but rather an integral part of the process that shapes you into someone capable of overcoming even greater challenges in the future. Every struggle, every obstacle, every setback is an opportunity to evolve, to become stronger, and to build resilience that you never knew you had within you. The challenges you encounter today may seem insurmountable, but they are nothing compared to the strength and power that you are developing as you face them head-on. The person you are becoming is not defined by the challenges themselves, but by the courage, determination, and growth that these challenges ignite within you. The human spirit is resilient beyond measure, and often it's only when we are pushed to our limits that we realize how much strength we truly have. When we encounter hardships, it's easy to feel overwhelmed, discouraged, and sometimes even defeated. In these moments, it may seem as if the weight of the world is too much to bear. But if you look closely, you'll see something beautiful. Every difficulty you face is an opportunity for you to develop mental toughness, emotional strength, and the kind of resilience that will enable you to navigate future storms with even more grace and confidence. It is said that diamonds are formed under pressure, and the same holds true for people. The intense pressure of life's challenges forces us to dig deeper, to find strength we didn't know we had, and to rise to a level of maturity and wisdom that can only be acquired through struggle. Without challenges, we would never know what we're truly capable of achieving. Think about the times in your life when you faced adversity. Perhaps it was a personal loss, a professional setback, or an emotional struggle. Looking back, you may realize that although those moments were painful, they ultimately led you to a place of greater strength and understanding. Each challenge added a layer of resilience to your character, preparing you for the person you are becoming. One of the most profound truths about growth is that it is often uncomfortable. Transformation requires us to step out of our comfort zones, to confront our fears, and to tackle the unknown. It's in the discomfort of facing challenges that we experience the most significant growth. It's easy to be content when everything is going well, when life is smooth and predictable. But the real work of becoming stronger happens when life throws curveballs, when things don't go according to plan, and when we must summon the courage to move forward in the face of adversity. When you are in the midst of a challenge, it can feel like it's never going to end. It may seem like the struggle is endless, and the weight you carry is heavier than you can manage. But this is where your growth is happening. You are being shaped by the process, just as a sculptor shapes a statue from raw marble. The process may be painful at times, but it is necessary for you to become the person you are meant to be. The person who can stand tall, face adversity with confidence, and use each challenge as a stepping stone to higher ground. Your growth is not linear. It's not a simple, straight path from where you are now to where you want to be. Instead, it's often a winding road filled with detours, setbacks, and unexpected turns. The beauty of this journey is that each twist and turn is providing you with lessons, experiences, and insights that you could not have gained otherwise. Every time you face a challenge, you have the opportunity to expand your capacity for resilience, patience, and perseverance. And as you move through each challenge, you build an inner strength that will prepare you for the next. Many people make the mistake of thinking that they must be perfect before they can overcome their struggles. They wait until they feel ready, until they feel confident, until they believe they are worthy of success. But this is a misconception. You don't have to be perfect to be strong. You don't have to have everything figured out to move forward. The strength you need is already inside you. It is the willingness to keep going, to keep pushing yourself, and to trust that you are capable of becoming stronger through every trial you face. Each challenge you face is refining you, chiseling away the parts of you that are not in alignment with the person you are destined to be. Think about the person you are becoming right now. What qualities are you developing? What strengths are you building? Every hardship you face is providing you with the raw material for the person you will be tomorrow. The person you are becoming is more resilient, more compassionate, more resourceful, and more courageous than the person you were yesterday. You are not the same person who started this journey, and you will not be the same person when it's over. You are evolving, growing, and transforming into someone who is more capable, more confident, and more powerful than you ever imagined. It's important to remember that the challenges you face today are not permanent. They are simply moments in time that will eventually pass. What remains, however, is the person you become as a result of facing them. The person you are becoming is not defined by your circumstances, but by your response to them. It's not about avoiding challenges or wishing them away. It's about embracing the opportunity to grow stronger through them. In fact, the challenges you face today may be laying the foundation for the life you've always dreamed of. They are preparing you for the success, the happiness, and the fulfillment that you are capable of achieving. But none of that would be possible without the lessons and strength you gain from overcoming the obstacles in your path. When you are in the midst of hardship, it's natural to question why it's happening. You might wonder why you're being tested, why things are so difficult, or why it feels like the universe is against you. But rather than asking why me, ask yourself, what is this teaching me? Every challenge holds an invaluable lesson, and it is through embracing these lessons that you are shaping your future. You are becoming someone who is better equipped to handle the trials that lie ahead. Each time you persevere through difficulty, you are strengthening your character and building a solid foundation for your future. The idea of becoming is important because it shifts the focus from what you are currently experiencing to who you are growing into. You might not be where you want to be right now, but that doesn't mean you won't get there. Every setback is an opportunity to build strength. Every disappointment is a chance to develop resilience, and every moment of doubt is an invitation to cultivate faith. You are not defined by the hardships you face today. You are defined by the person you are becoming as you navigate those challenges, as you learn from them, and as you rise above them. There's also something incredibly powerful about recognizing that your challenges do not define you, but your response to them does. Your circumstances may be difficult, but they are not permanent. The person you are becoming is not limited by the difficulties you face today. It's shaped by the courage, perseverance, and determination you demonstrate in overcoming them. The more you embrace the challenges, the more you grow. The more you face adversity head-on, the more resilient you become. And the more resilient you become, the stronger you are in your ability to navigate the next challenge. It's easy to get discouraged when things aren't going well. It's easy to lose hope when the road ahead seems steep and unyielding. But what if you could view every challenge as an opportunity to discover just how strong you are? What if you could shift your perspective and see every obstacle as a chance to tap into an even greater reservoir of inner strength? The person you are becoming is built on this kind of mindset. It's built on the understanding that challenges are not here to break you, but to shape you. They are not here to defeat you, but to empower you. As you move through your challenges, it's important to give yourself grace. You don't need to have everything figured out right away. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to keep moving forward. Every step you take, no matter how small, is progress. Every time you rise up after a fall, you are becoming stronger. The person you are becoming is the culmination of every lesson learned, every battle fought, and every challenge overcome. You are becoming a person who is not only capable of achieving great things, but who is also deeply resilient, profoundly wise, and unwaveringly strong. When you look back at your life, you may be amazed at how far you've come. The person you are today is not the same person who faced those early challenges. You have grown, you have learned, you have evolved, and you will continue to evolve. The challenges you face today are just one chapter in the story of your life. What matters most is not the struggle itself, but who you become as you navigate through it. Keep moving forward, because the person you are becoming is far stronger than the challenges you face today.